Welcome everybody to MYG's weekly, bi-weekly, not weekly, but bi-weekly information session where we come and we just speak to you guys and give different knowledge and know-how into what we have to do as a people to create a nation and really build our nation and have self-determination for ourselves. As always, I'm Taharka Jaja Shakur, and today we are going to have a special guest speaking, a really inspirational brother who has done very powerful things. He's opened up the Bop Bears Center, and the Bop Bears Center is really the mecca to Black progress here in Chicago today. There's an army of doers inside of here, and they're doing multiple beautiful things and different projects for our people. He's a real estate guru, and he likes to call himself our favorite entrepreneur. So with that, I would love to bring to the podium Bro Davis.
All right, how's everybody doing? First of all, I definitely want to thank Brother Taharka Shakur for his continuous contribution here at the Bob Center. You know, when we started this vision, we did so not because we were granted the right to do it, not because somebody funded us, but because we saw a need in our community and we rose to that need. But in doing so, as a visionary, it put us in a compromising position where we weren't able to afford a staff and office furniture, but just like everything, when its time is due, God provides a way. And so we were able to overcome the office furniture issue, and because of this brother's contribution, we were able to overcome the payroll issues. So I just want to give him a round of applause. I also want to thank the other two brothers who have donated their time to this vision that the Millennial Youth Group is taking as a personal commitment, because I believe that the next leg of liberation has to be assumed by the generations that continue to proliferate. So I believe that each generation has to take on that mantle of leadership. So I applaud you, brothers, for taking your time to be responsible in the freedom and the liberation of our people. Yes, so let's give you a round. As Brother Taharka said, my name is Brother Bro Davis. I'm the visionary and co-founder of BOP Project 5000, which is the programmatic thrust of an organization that I co-founded roughly about 15 years ago called the New Life Movement. The New Life Movement was born out of my passion to help take our people to the next level. I felt like the hip hop generation had to step and pick up the baton from the civil rights generation. I think that today we are beyond civil rights, and it's time for economic and political power as a community. That's right. And that's not something that's just going to happen. That's something that we've got to be willing to die for. And I say to die for because in the birth of a nation, there are tremendous sacrifices that have to be made in order for that nation to become real. When we look at America, and I use America because I think that it's the best example of the birth of a nation in our lifetime. That's right. What we realize is that all America really is an idea. It's an idea that men, and I stress men, that's right, real men had the inspiration, the fortitude, the commitment, and the willingness to create. And in doing so, they were willing to pay the price in blood, that's right, in time, and the full depth of the human capacity. And so today, while we value all the hardcore attributes of our country and of our nation, the reality is that it just started with a group of guys in a room just like this who declared their independence.
That's right.
A group of individuals who were feeling oppressed by the nation of their origin and decided that they were going to do something about it.
That's right.
And so I'm not sure how other nations began, but
You know how this one began.
that's right. That's a hell of a start. So I think that it's realistic for us. And when I say us, I'm talking about black people. I think it's realistic for us to believe in an idea that would give birth to a nation that would create sovereignty for our people.
Yes, sir.
That would create liberation, inspiration, faith, and the evolution of our race.
Yes, sir.
I don't think that that's an unreasonable proposition.
No, sir.
I think that that is something that can and should be done. I think that, in fact, I think that it's the Creator's will that it be done.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
At this stage of humanity, I believe that we are in what they call the end times.
Yes, sir.
And I don't mean the end of the world as we know it, but definitely the end of the axis of power as we know it.
Yes, sir.
There's a scripture that says the first shall be last and the last shall be first.
That's right.
Well, you don't have to be an anthropologist
Figure that one
at
out.
this point to realize that we were first. Today we're last on the life index, the financial index, any index that characterizes a living people.
That's right.
We are last on. But the fortunate part of that story is that it's God's will that we become first again.
That's right.
And so the idea that we would be considering and having a topic called the birth of a nation, or how do we birth a nation, is timely.
That's right.
When you understand the biblical references. And I think it's important to realize that the birth of the black nation comes on the heels of a nation or a kingdom that is currently in existence.
That's right.
Oftentimes in the church you hear the preacher talk about the coming of the kingdom of God.
That's right.
And I believe that the coming of that kingdom is the birth of our nation.
That's
Nation
right.
within
Yes,
a
sir.
nation.
A nation within a nation. And it's interesting to me that when we step outside of the Eurocentric interpretations of Christianity, which I use as a frame of reference, and let me say this before we begin. I'm a black nationalist.
That's right.
So I really don't care what religion we choose
That's right.
as a people, as long as the construct of that religion is conducive to the birth of a nation.
That's right.
right.
That's right.
And so my challenge with Eurocentric Christianity is that that construct is not powerful enough for us to give birth
That's
to
right.
our nation.
There it
That's
is.
right.
The idea that we are filthy rags in the eyesight of God, born into an original sin,
Don't worry.
where the battle is not even ours, it's the Lord's. And the image of the Lord looks like our oppressor.
There's something wrong.
The very idea of that will never give birth to a black
That's
nation.
right.
That's right.
That's right.
Never. I don't know what it'll give birth to. Probably what we
But
got
it ain't us.
right now. It's already giving birth. And so,
That's right.
it's interesting that when we look at the Bible, and I use the Bible as a frame of reference, you know, I don't claim to be a biblical scholar, but what I do know is that there's a biblical blueprint of oppression. When you look at how the oppressor deals with the oppressed, it's very easy for us to look at the black condition and understand where we are and the variables.
Exactly.
That's
Now, when I look at that biblical blueprint of oppression, you see a pattern. First of all, we realize that the Bible is not speaking to the whole human family, it's
That's
speaking to a people.
Hello.
And
Come on now.
I don't know about y'all, but I believe that we are that people.
Hey,
We
I'm
are
with you,
descendants
Mom.
of that people.
I'm with you.
The Bible is speaking about the sojourn of the children of Israel, a people who held captive God's eye. And in our journeys, we transgressed with the laws and we were sold and born into captivity. So when you look at it, it's us in and out of precarious situations
That's
at the
right.
hands of oppression with the backdrop of our sins.
That's right.
And what we see in that blueprint is that you see that under the thumb of oppression, we are always, when you look at the oppressor, there's always a death plot
Exactly.
against the male children
Exactly.
of the oppressed.
Come on now.
Moses, during his time, Jesus, during his time, both were born under a death decree.
Kill the boy, baby.
Kill the male children.
That's right.
Why? Because both Pharaoh and King Herod understood that the redemption, the freedom,
That's right.
and the power of that people and that ability. See, what they've been worried about is the birth of our nation.
That's right.
And they understand that that birth of our nation will come because of strong black men like brothers like these
Real
ones
simple.
sitting here.
Real simple.
It's real simple. And so, looking to protect their interests and understand what the objective of oppression is.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
The objective of oppression is to remain in power, to control the land, not the sky, to control the land and the wealth thereof. Because there's a benefit that comes from oppression.
Exactly.
So, in the time of Pharaoh or Moses, in the time of Jesus, they weren't in fear of somebody coming that was going to pay a price and take us off to a spook kingdom.
Hello now.
They were worried about a kingdom that would come and conflict with the kingdom that they had already built.
Come on now.
That's right.
That's what they were in fear of.
That's
That's
where we
right.
at.
Yes, sir.
And it's important to understand that because it's the smoking gun to the life, the work, and the ministry of those who actually came according to the Bible.
Yes.
That's right.
Come on now.
The children of Israel were not praying to go off to heaven.
That's right.
They were praying to be able to take back their land, take back their power,
Come on now.
take over their assets.
That's right.
And so in fear of that, King Herod, Pharaoh, issued a death decree.
That's right.
So Moses had to be born, sent up the river
Hello.
by his mother in fear of his life. Jesus is born in a manger.
Hello.
And today, we face mass incarceration. We face the very same things because we're living under a death decree that was
right.
issued on our lives.
That's right.
So when we look at the condition of the black male today, what we see is a similarly situated pattern. We're living in the manifestation of a death decree.
That's right.
See, we have a mythical concept of how that plays out. We're thinking that they knocked on the doors and went to kill. We never thought about the propaganda and the information
That's right.
that would kill the hopes and the dreams of every generation that bought into it.
Kill a nation.
That's the death decree.
That's right.
If you could think about J. Edgar Hoover and the posture of our government during the civil rights era when black power was at its peak, I believe it was J. Edgar Hoover that said we have to stop the rise of the black messiah. The one who could, the strong militant black nationalists who could unite and organize the people.
That's right.
That was their fear.
That's right.
And they went about executing that death decree by creating the counterintelligence program.
That's
that was the death decree.
That's right. Still in existence.
Still in existence. And we saw black leaders and black organizations and literally the manhood be stripped from black organizations and other leaders that would follow in the Moseses and the Jesuses of our time, the Martins, the Malcolms, and the Stokely Carmichaels, the leaders who were willing to put their lives on the line.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
It took and instilled fear. We traded civil rights for sovereignty.
That's right.
That's right.
And so when we see the condition of the black male, what we see today, mass incarceration, black on black crime, that's the death decree.
That's it.
We living in the midst of it.
Yes, it is.
Number two thing that they do as a part of the biblical blueprint of oppression, they always give you a new God.
Hello.
Have you think you worshiping God, but you really worshiping the image of the oppressor.
Hello.
In the time of Moses, Moses is living in a time the children of Israel, Pharaoh had given the children of Israel a God in his image
Yes, sir.
and his likeness. And the children of Israel were praying to that God
That's right.
to free them from Pharaoh.
That's right. Free.
So much so, this is how far away that they were from the understanding and the truth of their God. Moses, when he came in contact with the real God, had to ask him, who do I tell these people you are?
That's right. Who sent me?
Who sent me? He said, tell them I am that I am
There you
sent
go.
me.
That's right.
And so I often wondered, I said, why? It seemed like Pharaoh was going to free the children of Israel. Moses would go to Pharaoh saying, let my people go. And Pharaoh was about to free the children, and all of a sudden God hardens his heart. So I said, why is it that he keeps hardening Pharaoh's heart? And then I realized that the goal was not to get Pharaoh to let the people go, but to get the people to let Pharaoh go.
Huh?
Because we had bought into
That's right.
the God of Pharaoh.
That's right.
We were looking to the construct that Pharaoh had created that maintained our enslavement for his purposes as the axis of our freedom, and that's contradictory.
That's right.
I think that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it best. A man that won't treat you right won't teach you right.
That's
Can't
right.
do it.
So now we move on to Jesus
Yes.
and the times of Jesus.
That's right.
And what we see is a similar situation.
That's right.
You see that the religion and the religionists have co-opted the spirit, the truth of God. And so the children of Israel are now caught up in misinformation, lies, and bribery.
Come on now.
And so when you look really at our condition today, you see a similar situation. You see where we have bought into the God of our oppressor.
That's right.
We praying to him to free us from him.
Ain't that something?
And when you look, and I often say that, you know, because if we had to be honest about the Bible, we had to be honest about the Jesus story. That story is as old, maybe even older than the pyramids itself.
Yes, sir.
It's written on the walls of the pyramids.
Yes, sir.
They say that there are at least 10 Jesus figures that predate the actual story and narrative of Jesus.
That's right.
That's not an opinion, that's a fact.
That's right.
So when I look at that and I think about our condition, I realize that maybe it's more of a prophetic word. Maybe we living in that moment.
There you go.
And when you look at, because if you understand history, you understand that it repeats itself.
That's
Hello.
right.
I believe that life is like a pendulum. The first shall be last, the last shall be
There you
first,
go.
because it swings. And I think that we're in a dispensation of time
There you go.
where it's just our time.
Hello. Come on now.
And in that time, you have a situation. So those people who write Bibles, Quran, and those spiritual books can draw from those narratives because those narratives continue to manifest at different dispensations of time.
Come on now.
So I believe that we live in the time,
In the moment.
in the moment.
Yes, sir. Come
And
on.
when I look at the metaphorical relationships, I realize that, man, is very similar. We got all of the pieces.
That's right.
You got your John the Baptist.
That's right.
To me, that's Farrakhan.
Come on now.
He's the wild man in the wilderness cursing the Jews, claiming that the kingdom of God is at hand.
Come
You
on
better
now.
repent.
Come on now.
They couldn't do nothing with John the Baptist, and they can't do nothing with Farrakhan.
Come on now.
You look at who are the enemies. How are we transferring oppression? How is the next generation getting the oppressive thinking? We're not in chains no more.
That's right.
Right.
It's through the education, the miseducation.
That's right.
It's through the political agenda. It's through the religion.
Come on now.
And it's through the social construct. Who are the enemies of Jesus?
That's right.
The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, and the Sanhedrin.
Come on now.
You're looking at the political operatives. You're looking at the scholars of his day. You're looking at the social engineers or the elite. And then you're looking at the religionists.
Come on now.
Now, out of all of these enemies, who is his greatest enemy? It's the church.
Come on.
That's right.
It's the religionists. Now, I don't know who this Jesus is that we keep learning about that was passive, who was very soft and loving everybody, because the one I read about
Hello was a
sound like he was raised in hell.
That's right.
He in the church,
Come on now.
whipping them fools out the pulpit with a bullwhip turning over the
Hello
tables.
now.
And he's constantly in this war, this exchange,
That's right.
this debate. And when you look at what really, now when you start thinking about the ministry, what's the ministry?
That's right.
Making the blind to see,
Hello.
the deaf to hear, the dumb to speak. What's so important about blind, deaf, and dumb people?
Hello now.
It's not about physically blind, deaf, and dumb people. It's about people blind to their own oppression. It's like what Harriet Tubman said. I freed 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed thousands more had they only known that they were slaves.
If they only know.
So now you understand where the blindness.
There you go.
And even though we constantly on Facebook telling them they deaf to
Still
it,
can't hear.
still can't hear.
Come on now.
It don't matter who tell them they can't
They
hear
can't
it.
hear. Blind, deaf, and dumb.
And dumb. Here it is, you in last place in everything that will record some type of progress, and you still making moves that's contradictory to your best interests. That's what's dumb about all this.
Come on now. Come on now.
So, for us, and I believe that the Jesus, the coming of the Lord, is the coming of the collective consciousness
There you go.
of the revolutionaries that are going to build off of the example of the Marcus Garveys, the Elijah Muhammads, the prophets of our day.
Come on now.
See, what makes us so special, what makes Jesus so important, is because he comes at the end of time and he fulfills the kingdom and the manifestation. It's our generation that's going to experience the kingdom.
That's right. Come on now.
The
Come
kingdom
on now.
is our kingdom.
Right now.
It's the coming of our sovereignty.
That's right.
Because when you look at the Bible and you look at the times where God shows up, when he's in the picture, you see nation building.
There you go.
You don't see them going along to get along. You
That's
see in God telling his people to go and kill them all.
Fight.
Now, I'm not suggesting we go kill nobody. But when I'm telling you that when God comes on the scene, it's about building a nation.
That's right.
It's about the promised land, not the promised sky.
Kill the old.
What makes Jesus an enemy of the state is that one statement: our kingdom come
Hello.
on earth as it is in heaven.
But it's on earth.
Now let's be practical about that. Why is that a threatening statement? Well, that would be threatening to somebody when you look at the Catholic Church that owns more land than anybody else. While they selling us on a pie in the sky, they are the largest landowner and the wealthiest entity on the planet.
Come on now.
But they selling us a life on another planet.
Come on now.
And it makes sense.
It's good.
So I can see how somebody talking about, look, we're going to take back our land. We're going to take over our business community.
That's right.
We're going to take back our communities, and our sovereignty can become an enemy of the state.
Uh-oh. Watch out now.
In order for us, now I want to set up, because I want us to understand the work we in, the challenges we going to face, and who our enemies are.
Come on now.
Because when you understand life versus death, and you understand that the kingdom that we're in, our death is their life.
Believe that.
What they call in a life requires the death of our people,
Come on now.
because it's on the backs of our blood.
Come on now.
And so for us to bring our kingdom and understand what the tenets of that kingdom proposes, is a death to their world and its systems.
Hello.
That's why in order to enter the kingdom, you got to be like a little child.
Be reborn.
You got to be totally re-educated and be reborn.
Come on now.
Because everything we've been taught to eat,
Huh?
everything we've developed an appetite for,
Come on now.
all of the cultural norms, the experience,
Come on now.
everything that we have decided as black folks that we want, we call them Negro peons, everything that we've decided that has value is a death to the nation, the kingdom that I believe that our God wants us to build.
Hello. Come on.
So when we start working to bring the kingdom and we start talking about eating meat, now we've just acquired us a new enemy.
Hello.
That's right.
Think about when Oprah said to the beef industry that the beef shouldn't be eaten. Look at how they attacked her. So now we saying we got to be vegan. We gonna stop eating meat.
Come on now.
We saying let's pursue a natural path, the solution for your health,
Come on.
like Dr. Sebi.
Take back your power.
Now we challenging the pharmaceutical companies.
Come on now. Look at it.
So when you look at the enemies, in order for us to build our kingdom and give birth to our nation, we're creating enemies with the people who have a vested interest
Hello.
in the death
Come on, bro.
of this world. So the afterlife is the life after the death of the world that they created, but the beginning of a world where we will have no end and no peace.
Come on now.
Or full peace.
All peace.
That's right.
This is what we up against.
That's right, bro. Come on now. You ain't said nothing wrong.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So the birth of our nation, and I'm almost done, but I got to get this part out. So the birth of our nation, when you look at it, you know, when I think about the scripture, there are many mansions
Come on now.
in my Father's house, and I agree with that when we get in his house.
That's right.
Problem is, we ain't been in his house.
Come on.
I know it's many mansions because I got the addresses. It's all these vacant buildings.
Let's go on now.
All these vacant buildings. Those the mansions.
Come on now.
We are literally, they say the storehouse of the wicked is laid up
Come on,
for the
man.
righteous.
That's right.
What's any different than the north side and the south side other than the vision
That's right.
of the people who occupy the land?
That's
Come on.
right.
The reason why we don't see the value is because the value of it is connected connected to our pain.
There you go.
Our vision, our ability to see is connected to our pain. What's the difference in the north side? Somebody had a vision that was bigger than the pain.
Come on now.
Think about Cabrini Green. Somebody had a project, them was the worst projects in the country, I would argue.
That's right.
But somebody had a project that was bigger than the projects.
Yes, sir.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
And today, it's the expansion of their kingdom. That's what regentrification is.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's the expansion of their kingdom.
Come on now.
And so when I look at all of these things, the wealth that's stored up by the wicked is laid up for the righteous. In other words, when we look at our community,
Come on.
there's a tremendous opportunity for wealth.
Come on now.
Do you understand? And I gotta talk to us, because do you understand that America bombs countries to get to where we at right now in Black America?
Come on now.
Where it's got to be totally rebuilt.
Come on.
It's got to be rebuilt.
That's right. That's what it means.
And this is where our wealth exists. Our communities are going to be regentrified.
That's right.
But if we want it to be regentrified responsibly, where we don't get moved off the land, then we got to become the landlords, the Lord of the lands that we are occupying.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
The challenge is that we got to deal with the heavy lifting of our community.
That's all.
That's right.
We've got to be able,
Come on now.
when you look at our condition and you look at what stands in the way, what's standing in the way of Chatham being as fruitful as the north side?
Us.
Blind people, deaf people, and dumb people.
That's right.
That's right.
We got to be able to give sight to the blind, to give hearing to the deaf,
Come on, bro.
and the mind of the people that's doing the black on black crime, so that we can stop doing dumb shit.
Yes,
There you
sir.
go. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Make
That's
it
the
plain.
journey, that's the war that we in.
Make it plain, bro.
That's right.
But we got to be able to feed the masses because they can't hear us.
Come on now.
And I know we ain't got a lot, but we got to be able to take a few loaves of bread.
We got enough. We got enough.
And we can feed the masses with it. We're going to take this straw and we're going to make bricks.
Come on now.
That's right.
Come on now.
That's what we got to be
where we
able
at,
to do.
That's where we at.
We got to be able to do that, and we have the power. And I know it's tough, which is why we got to develop the art of walking on water.
That's right. But we
Now, what exactly does that mean?
Come on now.
When you look at that scripture, you see that Jesus is walking on water, and there's a storm, and in the midst of that storm, somehow he's able to
on,
walk
man.
on this ground that we understand is not solid.
Come on.
Let me make this real. I'm looking at my own situation.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm in the midst of a storm financially,
Come on, man.
relationship-wise, all of these things. I'm hearing thundering and lightning, people arguing with me about what they're going to do if I don't get this money.
Come on, man.
Everybody, this is the thunder.
That's right.
And underneath me, I'm walking on ground that's not solid.
Come on now.
I could sink at any moment.
But
That's
you ain't
right.
drowning. Come on now.
But here's what the message in that parable is.
Yes, sir.
Is that when your faith is strong,
Come on.
when you understand that it's our time,
Come on now.
when we understand that we're not doing this alone, we got the will of God that's walking with us.
Come on now.
What we realize is that the physics don't matter.
Hey, we'll break it.
Because our faith has the power to steal the ground under us.
Come on, bro.
We just got to be able to get in the eye of the storm and never look down,
Come
keep
on.
looking up.
Come on now. Don't look back.
Don't look back.
That's right, bro.
Because we have to have that kind of faith of a mustard seed.
Yes, yes.
We don't need to check the ground. It's not going to
Come
fall.
on
Yes.
now.
If you understand who we're walking with.
Yes.
Come on now.
And so I'm saying that I want to bring us to this moment where we understand what this thing is and how it's going to play out. See, I believe that the revelation, as we move through the scriptures, the revelation, the end is the beginning.
That's right.
Come on now.
This thing happens in cycles.
That's right.
And what you have to understand is that the revelation is that the house is on fire.
Come on now.
And if we don't get up out this house,
Come on now.
we gonna burn up in it
Make it plain.
with them.
That's
With
right.
them.
With them.
Come on
It
now.
doesn't matter if we're the people of God's choice.
Come on now.
What they've done cannot last.
Hello.
Everybody not gonna get that.
That's
Come on
right.
now.
So what we realize is that the revelation is that a group of us, enlightened,
Come on now.
the elect of God,
Come on.
at the end time,
We're manifesting.
is going to wake up.
Come on.
See, we in a season where it's time for us to wake up.
That's right.
There's something in our biological clocks as a people that realizes that after the fall, there's the winter. The winter has been white supremacy.
Come on now.
The fall was the fall of our community, and it came on the heels of a winter of white supremacy.
Come on now.
So we've been like the grass, the plants, and what's living but dormant, looking at the sun through the eyes of the snow.
Come on now.
So we've been looking at God through the eyes of white people,
Come on
and
now.
we've been disconnected from our roots, just like in the wintertime the ground freezes.
Come on. Wake them up now.
But the enemy to the snow is the return of the sun.
Come on now.
The return of the sons and the daughters of God. That's
Come on
the
now.
enemy
Bam.
to the snow.
Come on.
That's the enemy to the world that has been created, is the return.
Come on now.
And if you understand the return, what you understand is just like in plants, what causes it to grow is photosynthesis. It's the process by which plants take the light of the
Come on
sun,
now.
carbon dioxide, and it creates a sugar that goes to the root and it raises itself to life.
Come on now.
That's right.
So what happened during the fall, we was no longer able to photosynthesize.
Hello.
We built a great nation before the fall because we could hear the voice of God in our ear.
Come on now.
And when we got into a season
There you go.
where the fall was preemptive, or that it came, then we no longer could hear
That's
that
right.
voice.
That's right.
And so the return of the sun
Come on now.
is the return of that season where now we taking the wisdom and the light of God, taking what's in our environment, and we creating a machine that allows us to do for
Come
ourselves.
on. Application.
It's the return of the
Come
sun.
on now. We ain't
But
out
that's
to
the
this season
enemy.
no
So
more.
our people been waiting. They looking for a Jesus,
That's right.
but here go to Jesus
Come
right
on
here.
now. We right here.
Right in your face.
And other brothers, because if you think about the spring, you think about a time when grass grows.
Uh-oh.
And if you look at that season, what you see is that you have different patches of grass.
That's right.
In the midst of the mud, the ground begins to melt.
That's right.
And that water begins to reconnect what's on the surface to its roots.
Come on.
So you see black people beginning through the tears of this journey, beginning to reconnect to our roots, trying to find our blackness, the source of our strength.
That's
Come on
easy.
now.
That's easy.
And so that's what's happening.
We in
So
there.
we in that season, but you see different spurts of grass. That's our enlightened leaders.
That's right.
That's people that get the message before everybody else and start tapping and waking up little patches of people, and that grass and that growth, and you have enough patches, pretty soon you got green fields
Come on now.
that's full of flowers, and you have some people that get beyond just the greenness and turn into colorful
Hello.
pieces and things that decorate,
Roses.
that we look at and we say that's beautiful.
That's right.
Come on now.
Beautiful.
That's what happens.
That's where we at.
So that group of enlightened individuals to Revelation, now we move to the Genesis, the beginning.
That's
Because
right.
the Revelation is this house is on fire and we got to restart this thing.
Come on now.
And when we look at the Genesis, that's why it says that not just in the beginning, but in the Hebrew it says in all beginnings.
Come on now.
It says we have to replenish the earth to suggest that it was already plenished.
Come on now. It's a re.
We have to replenish the earth.
Come on.
That's That's right.
And I often wondered, why does it say, let us,
Come on now, make a man.
let us make man
Break it
Come on
down.
now.
in our image?
That's
That's
make
right.
our own.
And then I looked and I realized that Adam and Eve is not the first man and woman. How could they be?
That's
Come
right.
on now.
They can't be.
Come on.
If they're the first man and woman, it is only Adam and Eve, they have two children, Cain and Abel. Cain slays Abel, gets
Come on,
cast
man.
off into the land of Nod
And run into some more people.
and run into some more people. He run into the daughter and actually get married to the daughter of a brass maker. If you understand the evolution of humanity, brass is a sign of modern civilization.
Now,
It's the
right.
beginning of cities. So there's a whole world going on outside the garden.
Come on now.
So what we realize is that the garden is just a controlled environment where a group of enlightened individuals decide that we're going to make man
Come on.
in our image.
Come on now.
So when it talks about taking the dust of the earth, what you see is we talking about taking niggas,
Come on now.
breathing life into them with different systems that complement the kingdom. That's the re-education.
Come on.
That's right.
That's going to complement the kingdom
In our image.
in our image
Come on,
and in
man.
our likeness. So what that means is that we have to go and be fruitful and multiply the information that has given us the wisdom, because we're that first group of individuals that God is connected with.
Come on now.
And we've got to wake up the others.
That's right.
Come on, brother.
That's what it looks like. That's all the Garden of Eden is. It's the ghetto.
We in it. We in it.
And we got to control that environment. But we got one rule inside this new environment, this new paradise that we created.
Come on now.
You cannot take a bite of the knowledge of the truth of good and evil. You cannot go back into that world.
Come on, brother.
Because that world is the one that's on its way out.
Come on,
And if you do that, you're going to die.
That's
There
right.
it is. Real simple.
You're going to die.
Real
We can't
simple.
live that way.
Come on now.
So part of what I'm trying to help us understand is that when we look, I don't know, I made that up. That's something that came to me.
Let's show hit on time, brother. Come on now.
And personally, I don't give a damn whether it's true or false.
Show fit.
What I do care about is that if we thought that, if you understand the power of the subconscious mind, it would be a better story for us to teach our children
Come on, brother.
than this idea that somebody else is going to pay the price.
Come on now.
We have to invest our energies and determine what we want the next generation to know. We've got to take the time to develop a construct
That's right.
that we can teach that's going to give us the power to tap into our spiritual power.
That's right.
And so I don't care what we decide to believe. You're a part of the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
You're a part of the Christian family. You're a part of the Hebrew family. But at the end of the day, long as whatever that construct is going to give us the power to tap into the real power that's within us.
That's right.
So with that, I want to thank y'all. I hope I didn't take up too much time.
Oh, no, brother. We're good.
But if we're going to build a nation, and I believe that we will, then we have to have a construct. We have to build it on the foundation of information, just like the founding fathers of this nation, regardless of how you feel about what they invented.
That's right.
What you have to know is that it's standing today.
Come on now.
And a disorganized truth or an organized lie is better than a disorganized
Come
truth.
on now.
And so if we're going to do this, we got to be scientific,
That's right.
and we got to be just as wise
Come on now.
as that serpent, but as gentle as a dove.
That's
Come on.
right.
We can't take that information and use it for bad. We got to use it for good.
Come on.
Now here's the end of the story. At the end of the day, what we're going to do is the redemption of our planet.
That's right.
There it is.
It's the redemption of the planet.
There it
That's
is,
right.
brother.
We got too much love in us to hate anybody.
Come
That's
on.
right.
We're not building the world just for people. We building the world just for the sons and the daughters of all of our people. We are the mothers and the fathers of everything. And so I don't have it in me to kill, hurt, or maim my children.
Come on now.
So we have to understand that that's our message.
Yes, sir.
That's what we own. We are the stone that the builder rejected.
Come on.
We are that people of God's choice because it's our time. And so with that, that's my
Come on,
time.
brother. My
Thank
man.
you.
We gotta just thank Ro one more time for that, because that he did MYG a favor, and that we are humbled by him delivering that message for us. But let's get right into what we came here to talk about, of how to birth a nation. That was a great intro into what we're gonna really talk about. So I would like to just introduce one of my brothers on the panel. It's just before I Prince Yusuf does an amazing job of really bringing it to us. We do an amazing job of really bringing to us the spiritual aspect of things. And with that, Prince Yusuf, just take the flow and give us and give our people what we got.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor and praise to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. We thank Him for our ancestors, whatever form or fashion they may be found. We thank Him for our founding fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We thank Him for the men of Scripture, Moses and the Torah, Jesus or Yeshua for the new gospel, and Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah for the Holy Quran. Peace be upon all those worthy men. But surely, if I can thank those men, I know only from Scripture, only from studying, I must thank those who came in our midst. The most honorable Marcus Garvey, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, our spiritual teacher, Ben Ami HaMashiach, our teacher Nasi Shalid, who taught us, know thyself by thy writings.
That's right.
And if those two had a spiritual child, it most certainly be Prince Asiel ben Israel. And I also want to thank the Honorable Silas Muhammad for the great work of creating the Lost Found Nation, the Afro-descendant nation. And also the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And those great names, I greet you in the words of peace. Shalom, shalom. Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank again that amazing speech.
That was amazing.
It's really hard to go behind a man like that because he gives you so much.
That's right.
And he gives you it in such a powerful and profound way. But he says something that's most imperative, that it's our time.
Right.
So I would do him a great disservice, and my spiritual fathers in the crowd, Prince Amiel, my teacher, Minister Taham, and everybody else is in this room, with not having the spirit to follow up and continue to give what's in my heart that's been taught by those great men and women to give to our generation.
That's right.
So the title of this class, or this premise of this meeting, is To Birth a Nation. But we got to know, to birth a nation, you got to have the mind to birth a nation.
That's right.
Most importantly, we can use it in rhetoric and even march and speech, but if your mind is not predicated and dedicated in all activities of your life to create and birth a nation, you're not going to be successful.
That's right.
That's the most important, imperative thing. We can't part-time build a nation. It's not nothing you do between 9 and 5, or something you do on the side to get a little extra money, a little extra credibility. When you're bored, when you want to hang out. It has to be done at all times of your life. When you're sleeping, you're dreaming about it. When you wake up, that's what you're putting all your energy into.
Yes, sir.
The men and women that you hang around, they have to be of that same tree, of that same fruit.
That's right.
The women that you date, they have to be a part of it as well. Because you can't be creating a nation and the children and your progeny are not meant for that nation.
That's right.
It's critical. So I want to talk about what it takes to have a mind to create a nation. So I want to read from the book, because I also want to give us literary devices to accentuate our point so that we understand that it's a science to what we're doing.
That's right.
We're not just shooting dice, we're not just up here speaking words, but we're giving you science to apply to your life to get the benefit of producing your own world.
That's right.
Understanding history, understanding those who are our forerunners, who are the ones who created and gave us a platform to continue to have the idea and the mind to create a world. That's imperative.
That's right.
It's imperative. Nation. The most honorable Elijah talked about creating a nation. Noble Drew Ali talked about creating a nation. Marcus Garvey talked about creating a nation.
That's right.
Ben Hamid, Prince Amiel, Prince Asiel, all those great men and women went to Israel to create a nation.
That's right.
We have a responsibility and an obligation to continue that work. Otherwise, we are spitting in the face of those men and women. We can't do that no longer. We have to be proactive in this great work. So I want to read out of a book real quick, The Psychopathic Racial Personality. We have to understand it now, because the problems that we find in our society, in our neighborhoods, in our communities are pathologies. That means they are diseases.
Come on, brother.
Talk about creating the mind of God. If you don't know what's in your heart, how can your mind be sane?
That's right.
If you don't know what's in your heart, how can your mind be sane? So if your mind is not predicated and dedicated to creating the world, you must have a disease.
Come on now.
Innately in you is the ability to create and to produce. How sudden in your world and your life and your doings, you don't want to produce nothing no more.
Something wrong.
Something's wrong. It's a pathology. And I just want to speak on this real quick. Page 18. And this was written 55, well, it was a little more than 55 years ago. This book was written in 1984. So 55 years before that, from a white professor of psychology at the University of Chicago, proclaimed this prophecy to the world. Now listen to this. Give me a dozen healthy infants, well-informed, and my own specified world to bring them up in. And I guarantee to take one at random and train him to become any type of specialist. I might select doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant, chef, and yes, a beggar man and thief. Regardless of his talents, his tendencies, his abilities, his vocations, and the race of his ancestors.
Come on now.
This is what this man is saying. He's talking about the science that he's applying to our people to create a certain outcome. So the whole time when we've been playing like we've created and come with our own ideas, somebody's been putting those in place.
Come on now.
Somebody controls your mind.
Every day.
So how can you have a mind to birth your own nation when somebody's putting you and putting their mind into you and perpetuating their nation?
Come on now.
It's a pathology. You gotta understand this. Because to birth a nation, that means you gotta take back your mind first, be able to use it and connect it to the Creator, and then you'll be able to create something.
Come on now. Say
It's
that
imperative.
again. Say that again. Come on, say
It's
that one more
imperative.
time.
For you to create a nation, you have to take your mind back, not connected to their God, but connected to the Creator.
In order to create.
And then you'll be able to create.
Come on now. That's heavy.
It's heavy. And the chapter which this was written in, the title was called Black Suicide.
By a white man. That's cold. That's
Black
cold.
suicide. That means you're perpetuating your own death through your thoughts, through your mentalities. When you think that you're making a difference by becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, becoming an artist, becoming a merchant, business owner sometimes. What kind of business are you doing?
White folks.
You gotta look at this a different way now. Because our generation has to understand, we have to grasp the concept of nation building. It is our only solution.
That's right.
Come on now.
You marching for civil rights? You marching for some type of political aspirations when it's not connected to your own world, your own mind, your own benefit?
Come on now.
You're participating in your own death.
That's right, brother.
Black suicide. I'm gonna jump to this other book, A Medical Apartheid, the dark history of medical experimentation on black Americans from colonial times to present.
Come on.
Everything that we're under, like he said, is an experiment, it's a science.
Come on now.
We're guinea pigs, we're lab rats in this society. That's why everything we do is in confined sense.
Come on now.
We haven't been deviated from this insidious nation, this insidious mind that's produced nothing but death and devastation for our people.
Wow.
We're talking about birthing a nation.
Come on now.
We're talking about giving birth to something. But you had to cut something off first. Ro talked about making sacrifices. It's time to sacrifice the mind of the oppressor so you can inherit and give birth to the mind of God.
Come on now.
Please bear with me.
Come on.
But it's indicative. Listen to this. Twice as many African American babies or other ethnic groups die before their first birthday. 1.5 times as many African American adults die more than white adults every year.
Come on now.
Blacks have dramatically higher rates of nearly every cancer, AIDS, heart disease, diabetes, liver disease, infectious diseases, and suffer from higher rates of accidental death.
Come on,
Quotations, accidental death, right?
Accidental.
Homicide, and don't forget mental illness.
Come on.
Why am I talking about this? Why is this so imperative? Because this isn't coincidental.
Come on now.
This is an environment that was created for that response.
Controlled.
Does your means produce your ends?
That's right.
It's producing their ends, the end of our consciousness, it is our world, our ability to create and perpetuate God,
Come on
which
now.
is life, which is truth.
That's right.
Come on now.
They said they're dying at alarming rates. They're not able to reproduce.
Come on.
How do they leave the battlefield? By killing you in all aspects. And the problem with that is they still can't catch up with you. You still reproducing at a higher rate.
Come on now.
Why is that? It's for a greater purpose.
Hey,
Don't
you
get to
gotta
that.
Equal the playing field.
Try to equal the playing field. I'm trying to go through this fast so we can get to my brothers. Just hear this out. It's time to get the mind of God so that you can really birth the nation.
That's right.
I want to read out of the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary.
Come on, brother.
A historical document. That's what the Bible is. It's a historical document. So understand it from that aspect
Come on.
of what the definition of mind. So important. Now hear this now. Mind.
Oh.
By the term mind, we mean God. Hear that now.
Come on now.
The Metaphysical Dictionary, Bible Dictionary, when they're talking about having a mind, they're talking about having God inside of your very being, inside of your very nature. Why do you think Brother Ro Davis said they took your mind away from you? Why do you think they experimented on us every day? Because to connect or disconnect your mind from your body is to create the oppressor's ability to be able to transcend his lies and his deception to you. Because if you have your mind, you can't be deceived.
That's right.
That's right.
When you have your mind, you are the living manifestation of God.
That's right. Come on now. Can the devil fool the muscle?
That's a powerful point.
Not nowadays.
Yes, now.
Come on.
We're talking about having the mind of God again. That's how you birth the nation.
There it
That's
is.
right. That's how you
There
birth
it
the
is.
nation.
Come on
Let me
now.
continue to read.
Make mine, bro.
The universal principle, which includes all principles, mathematics.
Come on.
We're talking about science now. We're talking about exact laws that govern our lives that we can apply to produce a certain outcome.
Come on now.
That's right.
Okay, the condensation of all of these principles, mathematics, is a principle that is, in its field, illustrates the exact explorable laws that are the one with the manifestation of God.
Come on. Wow.
It's a principle. When you have a mind,
Yes,
the
sir.
fastest, the most powerful thing in the universe.
Yes, sir.
They lied to it and says light travels faster than everything. No, a thought travels faster than everything.
That's right.
Light cannot travel without thought. It is the conduit that takes light from one end of the room to another.
Come on now.
What is light? It's intellect.
Come on.
What is thought? God
That's right.
being manifested through each and one of us.
That's
Come
right.
on now.
How do you know that you are of God? We said that last week about what you produce.
You got thought.
But you have to produce something that is concrete.
That's right.
Come on
You
now.
have to produce something that produces something.
That's right.
Are we doing that unless we're producing a nation? How are we saying we're creating something for our progeny, our children, if they don't have nothing they can benefit after we're gone?
Right. No production.
That's everlasting life. To be able to transcend past your own physical being, but your children able to pick up where you left off.
Come on now.
Producing God by having the mind of God.
Come on now.
There is nothing but mind and thought.
Wow.
That's all it is.
That's it.
It's nothing but mind and thought. If you don't have those two aspects, you cannot do nothing on this planet. Goes back to what Ro Davis said earlier. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Those people who do not have thought and a mind to produce a world.
Come on now.
Gotta have a mind.
mind. You gotta be powered by thoughts.
Come on now.
The Creator, that's what we're talking about. That's why we can connect so well. I can be a Hebrew, you can be a Muslim, you can be a nationalist, but we can together because we have a mind
That's right.
that produces something.
That's right.
Collective mind.
We're producing a nation
That's right.
for the benefit of us all
Come on now.
by applying the sciences. I'm gonna put a footnote in there for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go to a great scholar and teacher. Okay, Cheikh Anta Diop. He wrote this in 1976. Now this is called, the chapter is called The Black Child.
Come on now.
Bro Davis was right on point now what he was saying. He was talking about this next generation, the son, which is going to bring forth the intellect, the light, the knowledge, the rebirth. It's the children.
That's
Come
right.
on now.
Whole world always moans and groans for the expectations of the sons and daughters of Yah, the sons and daughters of Allah, the ones who will bring life to the planet again.
Come on now.
The birth of this black child.
The
But we
son
know
of
black
man.
is a science.
That's right.
It's an intellect, the greatest absorber of energy. So it means it's the greatest producer of energy.
Come on. The son of a man.
The sun is black.
That's right.
If you got the sun, you pour a big old glass of water on it, once the fire go out, it's gonna look. It's gonna look black. I mean, it's one of the greatest producers of energy. Let's make it plain now. You're that sun, like Bro Davis said.
Just say it
Come
again.
on now.
Hear me out. I consider culture as a rampart which protects a people.
Come on now.
You can't have a culture if you don't have a nation first.
Come on now. And you can't be protected.
And you can't be protected. So we can't be, the reason why we're dying like we are in the droves that we are, because we don't have a culture that protects us.
Hey.
That's right.
We are acclimating to their culture
That's right.
That.
in devastation. I read before one of their great scholars, Carl Quigley, he said, the number one creation, the number one institution, the number one science of Western civilization, which is the white supremacist civilization, is to create weapons, to destroy and maim, to kill.
Come on now.
That's right.
That's what we're participating in, and that's why we're doing the things that we're doing.
Exactly.
We're in a culture that perpetuates death.
Yes, sir.
We cannot do that no more. We have to be one who produces life.
Come on now.
Culture must, above all, play a protective role. Are we giving our children protection by giving them a culture to acclimate in?
No, sir.
We talking about birthing a nation now. We got to get back to this mind of God.
That's right.
We have to create these things. These are things that we have to be thinking about. These thoughts have to be perpetuating.
That's
Come
right.
on now.
If we're talking about being serious about this, getting back to that God mind. It must ensure the cohesiveness of the group. Following this line of thinking, the vital functions of a body of the African human science is to develop this science of collective belonging through a reinforcement of culture.
Come on.
We're talking about a collectiveness now.
Come on now.
That's my uncle, that's my brother, that's my
That's right.
father, Minister Tahama. Ain't no distinction.
Come on now.
Prince Amiel is your father, there's no
Yes,
distinction.
sir.
That's your
That's
uncle,
right.
there's no distinction.
That's right.
And we're collectively coming together.
That's
Because
right.
we have a culture that we're perpetuating, that we're creating. That's our protection.
A new world.
This can be done by developing a linguistic factors, a language, speaking language to each other. We don't
Which they
necessarily
kill.
mean Arabic or Hebrew or English, but it's speaking a language of truth
That's
that we
right.
understand.
That's right.
Because the language that we've been speaking for so long is lies and deception.
That's right.
It's time to change our language. That means we got to speak truth to power now. That's the language we got to learn before anything else.
That's right.
Because you can lie in Arabic, you can lie in Hebrew,
Come on,
you
man.
can lie in Spanish, you can lie in French.
Come on now.
But once you speak in truth, that gives the language a whole nother power.
That's right.
Come on now.
Your thoughts now. I'm wrapping up soon. Okay. But also, this is one of the factors, but by reestablishing the historical consciousness of the African and black people so as to arrive at a common feeling of belonging to the same culture and historical past.
Hello.
That's right.
That's why I have to give credence, not to just the men of scripture, but those who came in this dispensation of time.
That's
Come
right.
on.
I'd be a fool not to uplift the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Silas Muhammad, Ben Ami, Noble Drew Ali. I'd be a fool not to do that.
Consciousness.
It's a consciousness.
That's right, brother.
It gives us a historical connection, which gives us a power.
That's right.
So we're not looking at men far and fit between. Patrice Lumumba on the continent, other great men who uplifted us and want to do better and create a nation for us. We have to connect to that. We have that responsibility.
That's right.
That is our protection.
Yes, sir.
Because now we know what to do and what not to do. Now we have elders to lean on that can lead us and direct us in the path and the solutions of salvation.
That's right.
That is a mind of God. That's how you birth a nation. Why do you think they always uplift their founding fathers? They know they're criminals and crooks and liars and deceivers, but they have continuity.
That's right.
Because that's how you create and continue to perpetuate a nation.
That's right.
You can't stand without a history,
That's right.
and we're trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do so.
Can't do it, baby.
This is our protection. Almost done, almost done.
Good, right.
Once this is attained, it will be difficult and almost impossible
Come on.
to divide and rule
Come on. Divide
and to
conquer.
impose African communities once against another.
Come on now.
Once you understand these laws, this science, these principles, can't nobody come between you.
That's right.
You can't divide one.
One is the same.
It's indivisible.
That's right.
Come on now.
But one again.
Come on now.
Deuteronomy 6 and 4.
Go ahead, break it down.
Hear, O God, hear, O Lord, O Israel, hear our God, our Lord is one.
That's right.
One.
Albert Einstein stole that from us when he was talking about the law of relativity.
Come on now.
He ain't come with his own mind and got that. Everything's connected. We already knew that. So while they're going out in space trying to study the universe, the answers to the universe is inside of the black man and woman.
Come on now.
You are the answers. The birth of a black child.
Yes,
As
sir.
above, so below.
So, back to the definition of mind. I'm going to finish up. There is nothing but the mind and thought. Okay. The things made of external lies are simply effects and of themselves will quickly pass away. But mind and thought are one, like we just said,
Come on.
and inseparable, self-existent, and ever active. So you have the whole science thing that says matter is never created or destroyed. I'm talking about thought. I'm talking about your thoughts.
Never.
They can't create them,
That's right.
and they can't destroy them. That's what it simply
It's
means.
as simple as that.
You can create them,
That's right.
Hello.
and you try your best to destroy them,
That's right.
Not good.
but they can't.
Come on.
Just make it plain.
Right.
Simple.
Hear what they say. This ain't talking about you, man. They talking about us. The cause of all that appears. The understanding of God, a universal mind, is the key to all scriptures and occult writings. It is the story of creation. Having a mind, having the ability to process those thoughts, is the story of creation. That means it's the precursor to creating the world.
Yes, sir.
And the Bible says at the beginning it was the what?
Word.
It was the word. But what precedes word? Thought.
That's right.
Thought. Ideation to creation. Told by Moses, which is metaphysically correct. All things were brought forth by God said, mind and thought. So as I wrap up, understand that your ability to connect back to your mind, your identity, your culture, is your greatest tool and weapon against oppression.
That's right.
Once you do that, you are indestructible. That are the keys to continue to be along the line of the holy and divine, to bring forth everlasting life.
That's right.
Especially once you're able to pass that on, to disseminate that information. That's why what we're doing today is so important and so imperative, and it cannot be taken lightly by us. Not by those who's listening, but by us, because we have to live this in all aspects of our lives, because we are the examples for those who are going to come and follow.
Yes, sir.
Not us as individuals, but the truth and the principle and science of the Creator.
That's right.
You don't need to follow us. We don't need no, no entourage like that.
That's right.
But follow the principles, and I promise you, you're going to see yourself change overnight.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, I want to leave you in the words of peace. Shalom, shalom. Salam alaikum.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. That was a wonderful follow-up to Ro Davis. And we have to get into how a nation is born. Ro went into it a lot. But let's get even deeper into how a nation is really born. How was it really born?
Okay. So today, again, greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Greetings to all my brothers and sisters. Today, I am going to deliver our parallels between America's condition when they seceded from Great Britain and our condition now and why we should secede from America. There was no reason at the beginning for the colonies to secede from Great Britain at the start until there were laws placed against them where they had no representation for. The first of these acts or laws were the Navigation Acts, and it forced all trade to foreign markets to be on British ships, and in some items they had to go through Great Britain themselves. So what this did, it took the power from the colonists and gave it to Great Britain. Great Britain taxed them on the goods that they produced and were sending to these other people. How do you say, are you not taxed for everything that you produce? You create your own business here in America. But then you gotta pay your property tax for your building. You gotta pay your licenses fees. You gotta pay the fees to even start and incorporate your business. But now you ain't paying that to my brother. You ain't paying that to me. You paying that to the white man.
That's right.
Period. Another one of the acts was the Proclamation of 1763 and the Quebec Act of 1774. So what these acts laid out, Britain kept control of the land and their resources to the west of the colonies. Why do you think there are only 13 colonies? Because Great Britain did not allow the colonists to colonize the west. That land was rich with resources, and Great Britain knew that. So what did they do? They took advantage of those resources. They said, you can't go past this part.
There you go.
You stay over here, and we're gonna have this. How does that relate to us today?
Come on.
Look at your black neighborhoods. Like Rose said, Cabrini Green. Someone had a vision. That wasn't your vision. Cabrini Green is not owned by a black man and or woman today.
That's right.
That's white people. They said, oh, black people, y'all keep moving back south. We're gonna take all this land over here to the lake. Since you don't wanna see and use your land to its full capacity, you won't respect the land that you have as this prime real estate?
Then we'll do.
Shit, we gonna take it. And that's what they're doing.
Did.
That's right. Now going on to the taxes. So there was a war between Great Britain and the French. And it cost a ton of money. So they raised their domestic taxes up, but it wasn't adequate enough to fulfill the need that they had. So what did they do? Okay. We protect America, or the American colonies, as they say, with our military. So we're going to send over 10,000 troops to protect you. But guess what these troops are going to do? You're going to pay for them. We're not paying for that. We're going to charge the game to you. So how did they do that? The British made it to where you, or the colonists, paid for the troops' residence,
That's right.
their food, and their transportation. What does that mean? That means your enemy is sleeping with you, you feeding them, and you taking with him wherever you want to go. So what do we do now? Transportation, we got Uber now. It's a lot of black people in Uber and in the taxis. So we drive him around wherever he want to go. He paying us $15 a trip. He making $200,000 a year, and we barely making 50.
Hello.
And then feeding them.
Come on.
Yeah, let me slow down before I get too emotional in this thing. We working in his restaurants. We don't build our own restaurants. We're not coming up with our cuisine and giving it to him. We feed him whatever he wants to eat.
Exactly.
So we going to his neighborhood instead of in the neighborhoods we belong to, where we live in, and we work and eat his food. That's wrong. And then there was the Sugar Act that was imposed to reduce tariffs. Because the colonists, they started waking up a little bit. They said, okay, Great Britain, we're gonna steal these goods and we're gonna sell them to make money and not get taxed. So they reduced this to try to say, oh, it's okay, we're gonna reduce the taxes so you won't be so inclined to do this.
Also.
So what do they do in America today? They come up with the tax reforms with every political figure that hits the stage. Barack Obama calmed it down a little bit. He said, we're gonna charge the game to the 1%. In the middle class, who has more money. For those who are poor, but he did it for the poor black man or the poor white man. I think there's more poor white people than poor black people, don't you?
Oh, yeah. More white people.
He did it for the white man. He didn't do that for you and me. Slow down. All right, here we go. Now going on to the Stamp Act. So you know there were legal documents that had to be issued. You were required to purchase a stamp to solidify the jurisdiction of that document and make it valid. If that document didn't have a stamp, it was not valid. Today, are you not still paying for stamps?
Better believe.
Are you not still taxed on what you're shipping? It might look minuscule now for everything that you send, but think about the millions of black people in America that's sending out documents.
Come on now.
How many resumes been sent out online and or in the mail?
Come on
Where that money going? That money ain't going to you.
now. Government.
That money ain't going to you, bro.
Government.
Or you, bro.
I ain't get nothing there.
It's going to him.
Government.
Then, in turn, there was a tariff because they said, okay, we're gonna show y'all we mean something. Y'all been doing too much. We're gonna put up a little bit more laws, a little bit more tax on you guys now. So then they established a board of customs commissioners that collected all the taxes.
Johnny on the spot.
These were the governors that ruled the land, and they were in the different regions to control the people. Who comes up with your laws today? Are you able to pick your laws? I don't think so. Your governor. Why did Chance the Rapper go to the governor and ask him for money for the schools and help out the black community? What did he say? Okay. That okay came with nothing. Chance had to get his own money. We have to come up with our own resources in order to move something. We have to come up with our own ideas in order to take care of black people. If you want to be governed the right way, govern yourself. That's it.
Pretty much.
Then with the T Act, you know, that's when everything hit the fan. British made it to where their ships could go straight to America, untaxed, and deliver their product, where everything else sent to America got taxed.
Believe.
Okay? The colonists had enough at this point. They jumped on that ship, on them ships, and they burnt 7 or 5. Let's see what happens today when black folk get mad, real mad. They go riot, don't they?
Set it on fire.
They set it on fire. Everything. This has all happened before. It's just now, or then I should say, the colonists did something about it. They came together and they said, okay, it's time that we become independent of ourselves. What did they do? They started coming up with the Continental Congress. They didn't know anything about government. They were the outcasts. They were the low end or the rebels. But what did they do? They practiced government behind closed doors.
That's right.
The British didn't know what they were doing until after they demanded and declared their own independence
Too late.
from them. But what did America do? They went and sought another people, the French. to help them out with the war that they were fighting.
That's right.
Let me tell you today, the only people that's gonna help you in this war that you're fighting in today is you and me.
That's right.
There's no one here to help us but us. If we don't come together, we will go down like the British did.
That's right.
Period. So I'm gonna take a little bit further, not too much more. I'm pretty much wrapped up, but with the 10,000 soldiers that the British put over there. You know that British and the colonists were the same people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do with us today? They take our strong black men
That's right.
and women and turn them into police officers,
That's right.
federal agents. They have them look over us. Why do they have your own people look over you? Because they know you the best. They know how you think. They know what you want. But those are the sellouts. Those are the people who will go down with this burning house. We are not going down with this burning house. We refuse. It's time to wake up. Brother Rowe, he woke.
Come on now.
I don't know if y'all know or not, but that man is woke.
I don't know if y'all was listening.
He's woke. And he has the real estate mind.
Man.
What did America do after they got their independence? They started building their own businesses throughout the land. They started using those resources that they didn't have access to. They built institutions like the Beers Bop Center to magnify these ideas that they came up with. And that's why you see this system today. You know the stock market? They got that from Great Britain.
Come on, man. Everything they got.
But what product made them the most money?
Black folk.
Black folk. Slaves. And if you don't understand that you are still slaves today,
We told y'all that.
you work yearly.
Come on, man.
You come up with $1 trillion.
1.3.
Trillion dollars.
They ain't got a dime.
And you don't have a dime. Your community is run down.
Wow.
Your streets look in like the same condition as your house.
It's like a rack.
Toe up. But you gonna keep giving their money to the white boy, and he gonna keep taking it. So what does he do? He takes the money out of your schools, out of your after-school systems. But you don't raise nothing about it. You just say, oh, the money's going somewhere else, to a better place. Shh. Don't give me the curse. A better place. Their neighborhoods is a better place. Why do you think they have all the car dealerships there? The fancy cars. I'm not talking about just the Chevy.
They can afford them.
They can afford them. They put the best in their neighborhood while they stand to put the worst in yours. Why do you think? Do you think there are more shops in the suburbs or in the ghetto? They charging the game to the nigga. They say, we gonna market our product to black people. Why? Because black people gonna consume it.
Hello.
They got our minds. And with that, I'm gonna close. It's time for us to come up with our own products for our own nation. No matter where you fit under the umbrella, we are all black people transitioning to Afro descendants.
That's right.
This is our nation, for ourselves, governed by ourselves, for our future.
That's right.
We are the future, especially us young people.
Yes,
If
sir.
we don't get behind this,
Dead.
it's dead. It will not move any further. It won't happen
That's right.
at all. And with that, I close.
Thank you so much, Company, for really explaining how America itself decided enough was enough. And what we have to do today as Afro descendants is really let go of that fear. The fear, one, for self. We fear ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we are afraid of that image in that mirror. We have been so demonized. We have been so misused and mistalked about that all you see is something that they have taught you to fear. You fear failure.
That's right.
You basically fear success because you want to look at what successful black people look like in America. You don't want to turn into that.
That's right.
You fear that outcome. You fear what happens when even sovereign people go sovereign. Look at what's happening to the Native Americans. You don't want to be sovereign. Look at what America is doing to them. We have to let go of those fears.
That's right.
Fear of self.
We have to let it go. We can talk all so much. Oh, I love the preacher used to talk about the mindset. Let's free our minds from this fear, because the more we're stuck in this fear-based thinking, we're going to live our lives in fear.
That's right.
We only do things that we're told, we tell ourselves that we have to do. You might tell yourself, I think I'm going to do that. Or I may do that. But no, you do everything that you tell yourself you have to do. And what is those things you have to do based off of? Is it based off of love? Or is it based off of hate? You know, because those are the only two things that's going to tell you what you have to do. Oh, I love eating this, so I have to eat it. Or I hate my job, but guess what you're doing? You're going to it because you love the money that you get from it. So what does fear play into the hate? You fear that if you lose that job,
Wow.
how are you going to take care of your family?
Wow.
You fear that if you don't wake up in the morning, how are you going to be able to supply the needs for yourself and your family?
That's right.
You fear that if you raise your fist black power, that you might die.
That's right.
That's a fear that we have been accustomed to, that we fear for almost everything that we say we have to do. But I say we have to be free.
That's right.
Right now.
We have to create our own nation.
That's right.
Because I would love to be free.
Hello.
I would love to be with my family. We have to be a family again.
That's right.
Because we have to love each other. We have to let go of all of the things that continue us to be slaves.
That's right.
We have been oppressed so long, this fear has been just beaten into us, drilled into us, reiterated and just perpetuated onto us through slavery, through the miseducation of our people, through hundreds of years of generational mistreatment.
That's right.
And we have to let it go. I would love just for Prince Amiel to come and just speak a little bit more into what we have to do to just be free, to really create our own nation. And with that, Prince Amiel.
You stay in. It's my honor and privilege to stand before such distinguished brothers that are building and constructing our world.
Yes.
I'm not going to take a lot of time. I want to read something if it's all right.
Yes, thank you.
And give all honor and praise to the Bob Center for creating the environment
Yes.
that we can expose the beauty and the power and the majesty, the honor of our young men
That's right.
and young women who are not here today, but we don't want you to think that we're trying to do this without us. That's right. They're just not here today. So. It is time. It is time. Honor is something all men are born with.
Yes.
It cannot be taken from you, nor can it be granted. It must only be lost. We now stand at the door of our final great act. Tonight, our enemy will bear witness to the unbreakable code
Yes, sir.
That's right.
of the seventh rank,
Mm.
the rank of perfection, the rank of truth. We are reclaiming what they tried to take. And we are restoring the name of our world, the voice of our people,
That's right.
and the spirit of our nation.
That's right.
Honor So, those of you who have ears to hear and eyes to see, you hear what I'm saying about this word honor.
Yes, sir.
Because honor has been at the crux of our lack of development. Because we fail to honor that which is greater than us. We fail to honor the continuity of that which tries to uplift us. And so we have to come to terms with this honor. In the Eurocentric world, they have a cliche where they say there's honor among thieves.
Yes, sir.
Well, in our world, we're talking about the honor among the gods.
That's right.
So what I like to do sometimes when I'm allowed to speak in such a form is to tweak how we present certain things. Just a little tweak. We ask, and it's an appropriate topic today, we ask, what would the kingdom of God
Look like.
look like
That's right.
in its inception? And the simple answer is, look like the hell you coming out of.
Hello.
Make your point, Prince.
So we can't be but so critical
That's right.
about our people and the conditions we in.
That's right.
That's right.
Because nothing escapes the law of process. You might want an apple and you got a seed, but when you put the seed in the ground, you gotta wait for the process to take place before you can bite into that apple.
That's
You
right.
can salivate all you want.
Dream.
But you ain't gonna taste that apple
No, sir.
till the process has taken place.
Yes, sir.
That's why honor is really important. So when we're talking, we're looking at the reality of our nation has never not been. Because there are men who have held the concept in their mind.
That's right.
All the time.
Whether they were locked up, whether they were oppressed, or whatever. So we're talking about a continuity of a nation that never ceased to exist.
Yes, yes.
And if we don't go from that premise, we have no honor.
No, we
That's
don't.
right.
That's right.
Teach.
So when we craft our words and we craft our presentations, there has to be a continuity of the reality.
Yes, sir.
Because as we define ourselves, everybody's listening.
That's right.
So when you say, well, we have to be a people, we're already a people.
That's right.
When you say we have to build a nation, we're already a nation.
That's right.
Get busy.
The American experience led to what they call the Civil War, where they lost 200,000, over 1 million men. 200,000 of them were black.
That's right. We fight for him.
But when you look at it, it says Great Civil War. When you look at it in the continuity, it was like a civil disruption.
That's right.
There it is.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it didn't stop nothing.
Hello.
And everybody called America the greatest country, no matter what's taking place.
That's right.
You know why? Because they have continuity in their conversation.
That's
They have
right.
continuity in their deliverance. They have continuity in their speeches.
That's right.
They don't speak like something happened and they disconnected to it. Disconnected from it.
That's right.
No
So
matter
what I'm saying is that as we're developing our discourse, there has to be a continuity to our discourse.
Yes, sir.
We're already a nation. We're already a people. We already own the planet.
Yes, sir.
We are the gods universe.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And if only two people understand that, that's a continuity.
That is.
Because it ain't like this hasn't been uttered before. It ain't like the words we saying that hadn't been spoken
Come on now.
before.
Been there all the time.
So we're talking about the continuity. When we're talking to each other, when we say we need to unify, we don't need to say that. The presupposition is we already unified, that's why we're in the same room.
That's right.
We need a new world. We've been building a world at least for the last 6,000 years.
Yes, sir.
But the problem has been that 6,000 year context of thinking.
That's right.
Because we've been locked in a cycle.
That's right.
And we have been holding ourselves back from coming out of this box. Because when you come out of that box, you find out there ain't nothing new under this.
No, sir.
There ain't no new technology.
Teach.
All this stuff has already been.
That's true.
But if you're in a 6,000 year context, you thinking that all this stuff is new. So, in my closing, honor
Teach.
among the gods
That's
That's
right.
right.
is continuing to speak in continuity of purpose. So we honor all the greats, all the people, whether they are known or not.
That's right.
Because when we left here going to Israel, we didn't leave here going to Israel for Hebrews.
Mm.
That's right.
We left to break the cycle.
That's right.
Because our patriarch said that the key was external. If we got off the ship, and generations later we forgot that we were supposed to steal the ship and get back to where we came from.
That's right.
So now how do we fix that? The only way we would fix it was to get on some ships and go back. So we did our part.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we don't understand that in the continuity of the development. Because we took Marcus Garvey, we took Malcolm X, we took Noble Drew Ali, we took Elijah Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
we took the Panthers, we took the BLA, we even took civil rights. We took everybody.
Yes, sir.
So it wasn't about being a Hebrew, it was about the continuity of the reality of extricating ourselves from a slave existence.
That's right.
And the only thing that it took for us to do that was to change our minds.
That's right. That's right.
So that said, the patriarch said, we gotta leave.
Yes, sir.
Come out of her, my people. And be not partakers of her sins, for her iniquities have reached the heavens. And God doth reward her justly, double as she has done unto you. So, the continuity of our purpose, the continuity of our thinking, the continuity of our conversation, the continuity of our honor.
Yes, sir.
If we're going to be honorable,
That's right.
we gotta give due what is due. We gotta make just what is just. We gotta make right what is right. Honor among gods.
Yes, yes.
We're not men. We are gods.
That's right.
Continuity. Creation. Ideation. Manifestation.
Yes, sir.
So we went from thought to substance. We wanted freedom. Well, if you locked up in a jail and you got real bars and you sitting there and you say you want to be free, some people will tell you, well, just meditate and you'll be out of the jail. No.
Tried that.
You can't pray that way.
I tried that, didn't work.
So unless you break open the box, create some tricks or something to get the keys from the guards, or what caused a riot, what you gotta do something, huh?
Gotta be proactive.
You gotta be proactive. So I was let me close it. I was being interviewed in this radio program, and it was a sort of progressive program brothers and sisters had up north. And we were talking, and so when I opened up, I said, well, you know, I just got back from Israel. I came to visit y'all in jail.
I know that's right. Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying? I said, I came to visit y'all in jail. I said, y'all don't think y'all in jail because y'all got couches and chairs and y'all got cars and y'all got houses and all of these things.
That's right.
But you didn't ask somebody, can you have those things in the context of the cell that they provided for you? So you think it's all right.
That's right.
You think you're all right. And then, to exacerbate the situation, you having children. Now you know you shouldn't be having no babies. You gonna rear them in jail? You gonna let your enemy educate them?
Wow.
Feed them?
They ain't your babies.
They ain't your babies. And I done heard a lot of parents say, whose child are you? Because he's trying to name my child. No, that's your child. You brought them into this one,
That's right.
and you laid this on them, and you sent them out to be educated by your enemy.
That's right.
Honor. When we talk, what I like to do is if I'm reading a book or if I get an excerpt from somebody or something, I like to say who the person is. Like Prince Asiel said, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? Elijah Muhammad said, doesn't it? Which is what we do. But one of the main realities now is that the continuity. See, in the generations, what normally happens is you spend your energy talking about people that ain't here.
That's right.
You're honoring them. But the people who are here are doing the work. They're in your face every day. That are in the reality of life that you are living.
That's right.
Those are the spirits you're calling on.
They got the ability to do something about it.
Yes, sir.
So, in closing, honor. Honor. We gotta be honorable. Among the gods, we gotta be honorable.
That's
We
right.
gotta study honor, understand what that means. Because that entity that has lost rulership over the world, they had continuity of honor.
That's right.
That's
Look, they got history books, they got statues, they got it in honor of. And they honor those who are alive.
That's right. That's right.
This is the crux of my ability to make this presentation to you. We got to honor our ancestors, but we got to honor those who are alive, including ourselves.
That's right.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
So I thank the Bob son.
And be honorable.
And I thank
Thank you.
Brother Tahama and the Lost Found Nation is a Afro-descendant nation,
Yes.
African Israelite nation,
Yes.
Jerusalem, the nation of
One
Islam, and the history is replete.
That's right.
But if we are honoring those whose soldiers we stand on, let us honor our work
That's
and
right.
those who are doing the work in the present day, in the present time.
That's
Here we are at the Bob Center, young people doing all kinds of great things. But the continuity in our conversation is that this is a continuum. It hasn't been disrupted. It hasn't been stopped.
That's right.
That's right.
So the continuity is we have to speak in the present tense. Not the past, not the future. In the present. The power is in the present because the present, the past, and the future is the same thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I thank you and I honor
Thank you.
the brothers, I honor the Bob Center, and I honor all of those who came before us,
Yes, sir.
but I honor even more the ones who are doing the work today,
Yes, sir.
right now. Because we are here today, right now.
Yes, sir.
So let's honor us, the gods, and have honor among the gods. And I leave you as I greeted you in peace and perfect love.
Peace. Oh, thank you so much. With that, we all thank you for those who are here for coming to the MYG, and for those who will view and are viewing this for coming to the MYG. And with that, we would like to honor you guys for coming and watching. And we say peace and blessings from Tahaka, Calvin, and Peace and blessings. Thank you.
Babe.